Good morning, everyone. It is May 3rd. I have today and tomorrow as my last full days because on Tuesday I fly out at like 5 in the morning. But tomorrow I also turn in my car. So today is kind of my last big busy day. Today is the Flower Festival. I think it was actually all weekend, but today's the big parade, which I actually saw way in the beginning of my trip, and I was like, oh, I have to make sure I go to that. So, the day has come. It's actually kind of crazy. Since the Netherlands, I was a little bit nervous of being here for another 8 days. I knew I still had things to do that I wanted to do that I hadn't done, but I was worried that it wasn't going to take the full time. But it has. I've been very busy for the last 7 or 8 days. So I think tomorrow I'm going to just use it as like a reset packing day. I got to figure out how to fit everything back in my suitcase. But right before I went on this trip, I had to do a little bit of a closet refresh. I went shopping with my girl Denny, and I had picked out a dress at the thrift store, actually. This wasn't with her, but it would be perfect for this occasion. However, also, not that I care what they think, but I may be getting drinks with that guy who gave me his number on the side of a mountain, so I don't want him to think that I got all dressed up for him. We'll see. Because I do want to wear that dress, and it's a cute dress, but then also with the weather and it being overcast, like it wouldn't look good if I wore a jacket and yada yada yada. So there's something about this hotel, and I don't know what it is, that has been making me cough really bad. I'm not sick because the moment I step out of this hotel, like during the day, I am not coughing at all. So I don't know if it's like, I don't even know if dust makes you cough, because the room doesn't feel like stuffy or anything. The room is like any other room. Funny enough, when Stein and I were in Calheta, whenever he would come and hang out over at my place, he would cough. And then when I'd go over and hang out at his place, he wouldn't. So it's kind of like that scenario again. We didn't know what it was, but it was only while he was at my place when we were hanging out that he would cough. I don't know. But a little update on my bee sting I got yesterday. Whatever the lifeguard put on it must be like a miracle gel. I have no idea, but it's practically gone. But also, I haven't been stung by a bee in I don't know how long, so this may just be normal. Alrighty, here's the fit. Don't mind the mess. But I think I'm gonna go with this. It's cute, and I open the window and it's not too cold. But either way, I'll just suck it up and wear the jacket if anything. So I ran into a little bit of a pickle. I left my good clip back at the hotel, so I'm gonna be rocking this pickle clip. So we're back in the area that the rum festival was at, so I'm gonna see if I can see myself in the webcam. So the weather is a little bit overcast. It's sprinkling for sure. I decided not to bring the little umbrella I had because that would be really annoying to walk through people, so I did bring the windbreaker slash rain jacket instead. Okay, so it's currently 3:20. The parade doesn't start till 4:30, so I have like an hour, a little over an hour. The weather is really kind of gross. It's definitely raining a little bit harder, but still in the drizzling category. So I don't know if I want to stand out here for an hour, but then also if I don't, then the good spots will be taken. And so I don't know what I'm going to do because this was on my list and I want to see the parade, but the weather is really not great for a parade right now. Also, since we're at the port, there is a breeze from time to time. So with wet, dreary, and no sun with a breeze, I don't really want to stand in that. So maybe I'll go back to the car and get my charger. And then I did park at a mall, so maybe I'll just spend some time in the mall and then come back closer and check out the situation. So I think we're gonna do that because my phone is gonna kind of die soon. I'm back at the hotel. When I walked to my car to get my charger, I made the executive decision to go home because I was just kind of over it. Like, if I didn't want to be there at that moment, I wasn't going to wait another hour and then sit in the rain. You get the gist. I'm back now. I'm going to bring everything from the car inside. And I'm going to actually see if I can schedule a tour for tomorrow because that was kind of something I wanted to do, just one tour. And what I would want to do if it were up to me is the Fanal Forest again. I did it with Stein while it was sunny, but the whole point or the whole lore of that one is that it looks cool and mystical when there's fog. And since tomorrow the weather is supposed to be foggy and a little overcast, it might be the perfect day for that. However, since I do have to turn in my car tomorrow, that's why it would be great to do a tour. And I don't want to drive anymore. So, yeah. Again, about the driving, I'm just so ready to have it where I'm driving and my ears aren't constantly like popping or having to regulate because of the change of altitude. I'm so ready. Here's the crazy thing about Madeira weather. Over here is where PR8 is, and then it's so beautiful, blue skies. But then if you look this way, and on the other side of where I just came from in Funchal, the weather is really gross and really rainy and cold. So that's why I really rented a car, was because they were like, oh, the weather is so crazy, but you could be at one end of the island and everything is fine. And this is only like, I'm 20 minutes from Funchal, and then this is what the weather looks like. And then the PR8 over there is another like 15 minutes, but then 15 minutes the other way in Funchal was I'm gonna take a nap because that is what I really want. I think I'm getting cranky because I'm sleepy. And since I'm on a solo trip, I can do that.
A few moments later.
The way that I just ran back to my hotel room because I needed to vlog this. So I woke up from my nap and I was like, oh, okay. I'm not too hungry, but I can go eat. Let me just go grab something at the little restaurant across the street again. Talk to the waiter guy. He's super nice, yada, yada, yada. So I go over to the restaurant and I sit at the bar. And you could tell, like, they're all chatting. There's a couple of older guys, like, probably in their late 60s, maybe early 70s. Maybe? I couldn't really tell, but they were older, very much older than me. And I could tell they were locals. Like, they were all talking to each other. I saw them there the other night, and so all cool. They're watching the soccer game. And so I'm talking with the main waiter who's gotten to know me, and he was like, oh, do you want the steak sandwich again? And I was like, no, I'm actually going to try the pork. And I should have gone with the steak. The pork was still good. I should have just stayed with the steak. The steak is delicious. Anyway, there's this one gentleman, again, older. I had to guess this guy was in his like 70s. He had even like a walker, and he comes up to me and he goes, what is your main language? And I was like, huh? Because it just like caught me off guard. And he was like, do you speak English, Portuguese, Chinese, Japanese? And I was like, oh, English is my primary language. And he goes, oh, I would have thought it was Chinese. So then I'm sitting right by the door, and I see him come in and out. He's chatting with the guys at the bar, and then he goes outside, and he goes outside to smoke. So I was like, okay. Then he's done, and now he's just kind of lingering here, which is okay. Obviously, he's talking to his buddies, yada, yada, yada. But then when I get my food, he just, like, comes around every so often to talk to the people at the bar, but he's, like, going between being outside and being inside. Anyway, he'll make a comment here like, oh, you're getting the sandwich? Like, why don't you have a glass of wine with that to celebrate? He was like, that looks like such little food. And I was like, yeah, I'm not too hungry, whatever. Very nice. Very whatever. So he's sitting there, and I'm getting ready to pay. Now I'm actually talking to this other lady who came and sat at the bar. Get this. This is crazy. She and her husband were on the cruise, and they still had a week left of their cruise. They came and did the canyoning, like where you jump off the cliffs, where you rappel down the mountains, waterfalls and stuff. Her husband broke his leg. And disclaimer, it wasn't during the actual canyoning tour. Like, she said that they were completely done with the tour, that the bus was literally in sight. They had maybe like a couple steps to go to get into the bus, and he slipped on the pavement and broke his leg. And she was like, after all that canyoning, we did this, we jumped off that, and he slipped on pavement. And I was like, that's crazy. That's just showing you, like, anything can happen. It's, yes, the hikes and stuff are crazy, and the mountains crazy, like, everything's dangerous, but also you slip and you fall the wrong way and you break your ankle or broke. She showed a picture of the x-ray, completely like clean cut, clean break. So they are no longer on the cruise. They are flying home. She said she has to figure it out today or tomorrow, and he has to get surgery. So wild. Anyway, so then, given I'm having this conversation with this lady, so now it's been a while, and this guy is still sitting there. Mind you, now he's not smoking a cigarette anymore. He's not drinking anymore. He's not talking to his buddies anymore. He's just sitting outside. And so I pay and I get up to leave. He gets up to come talk to me. He was like, oh, you didn't drink with your meal? And I was like, no, I don't drink. And he was like, why not? And I go, well, I think it's just expensive, you know. I don't want to give him my whole spiel, but I was like, I just don't drink. I don't like it. And he was like, well, you got to drink once. And I was like, yeah, I did. I drank on my birthday, and I felt like that was enough for the year. And he was like, oh, okay. And so he was like, how about you come get a drink with me? And I was like, no, thank you. I'm going to back to my hotel. I have a busy day tomorrow. Little white lie. But he doesn't know. And he was like, oh, what time do you have to get up? And I was like, oh, just like really early because I want to see the sunrise. I have I have one more hike I want to do. Making up a bunch of things on the fly. Because obviously, like, I already said no. And then I don't want to be rude. But then also no. But then also I don't know if he really understands. Whatever, no means no. And so then he was like, well, I get up at 5 a.m. And I was like, oh, okay, but yeah, no. He was like, oh, are you sure? What about tomorrow? And I was like, well, tomorrow I have to pack. I'm leaving. And he was like, well, if you come back tomorrow, I'll be here. And I was like, oh, great, because I was going to go back tomorrow and get a steak sandwich for my last meal here. I guess I can't do that. But anyway, long story short, he really wanted to get a drink with me, and I was just like, no.